Speak louder. Go.
Hey guys, my name is James Rivas, regional at Rochester, New York, playing Fire Kings, Fire Fists. Went X1, lost because of my own stupidity.
To who?
We're not going to say to who.
To me.
But we definitely made top 8.
How do you lose to? Just because people want to know.
I lost because I set 5 cards like a noob and didn't torrential his Sangan. Happy?
So from 8,000 to 0, what second? 8 attacks.
Yes, 8 attacks.
Keep poking
Kept
for
on poking
8 turns.
for the game.
Alright, thanks. Alright, let's go to the main deck.
Alright, so it's kind of all over,
Alright.
but I got 2 Compulse. Compulse is really good in this deck, only because you could target your own monsters in case you really have to bring something back. Judgment, Warnings, Torrential, probably the best card in this deck, only because you have plays where you could like summon this guy, set Torrential, he dies, get his effect during your turn, and search for either Onslaught, Circle, or you could even search for Garunix in case you have a trade-in in your hand. I was playing 2 Call because we don't have Wolf Break, but I think overall I always side these out, so I think when I rebuild it for next time, I'm going to cut the calls and they're probably going to be either Fiendish Chains or Bottomless. But just only from testing. Like, I didn't really need this. The deck doesn't really need that. The deck wins without it. 3 MSTs, obviously. Dark Hole, Heavy. Trade-in, obvious choice because you could search with his effect. You could put this in your hand, or if you really drew him, trade-in puts him in the graveyard, so he's just not a dead card.
So it's not a deck call at all in general, is that what you're trying to say?
Correct, because we don't have Yugioh yet, which is OCG, and unfortunately, you need something to get him out of your hand. So your trade-in, Reborn, and only 1 Tensu, Tensu.
Why only 1?
Because there's not a lot of monsters. You're only playing 12 monsters in the deck. So Tensu, sometimes when you get monster clogged, you could definitely make plays like Shockmaster, just extra plays that you wouldn't be able to normally because, let's say you have Flame Dog attack, bring out Tensu, Guy, Shockmaster. So, the monsters of choice that I were playing today.
To forget this stuff. And the lances.
3 Lance, obviously very good in this deck. All this on your opponent's turn. If you Lance, all their effects go off. Okay, and then obviously you keep all your monsters alive to keep it rolling. This amazing with Lance only because you just keep rinse and repeating it. There's no reason not to play 3 Lance. 3 Tenski searches for everything in the deck, but this. So these are really major to search for in case you need it. Play it, like I said. You open that torrential, set it. If he warnings, and it doesn't even really matter. I always try to throw this guy on the board first, just only so I could search for my power cards. Okay. 3 Onslaught. This card is probably the most ridiculous card with Circle. Onslaught, if you have no monsters and your opponent has a monster, you're able to special summon Garunix, okay? And then he dies at the end turn, and then you bring him back and he's a Dark Hole. Okay, the other combo is, let's say, you have this guy in your graveyard, and then you have Circle. Circle, sacrifice him, destroyed by a card effect, bring him back. During my turn, comes back, destroys him. I get his card effect during my opponent's standby phase. Rinse, repeat, keep searching for fire, and just keep the loop going. Very overpowered. I don't know what Konami was thinking when they made these cards, but obviously they weren't thinking. Circle, very, very good. If you don't have Garunix, this allows you to special summon everything in the deck. They just don't have an effect, okay? So again, an extra play where I could go in the Shockmaster or another Exceed of some sort. I'm allowed to do different things. Again, this helps with all the destruction effects. And again, let's say I had other situations, Flame Dog attacks attack for 18. I have a monster in graveyard. Let's say I have this in graveyard. Circle, destroy it, summon, 16, search, end of turn, his standby phase, search again. See, there's just so many pluses in the deck. It's ridiculous. So then we have your 3 Flame Dogs. Your 3 Wrong. Your 3 Bear. I'm only playing 1 Gorilla in case I need to get rid of something that's very important. To be able to search for something if I don't have an MST at the time. Very powerful. And then your 2 Garuniks. As far as sideboard goes here, I'm siding 2 Soul Taker. You know what Soul Taker's for. Very powerful against Chaos Dragons, other decks that have timing issues. Shadow Imprisoning, good against Dark World and Insectors. Didn't see any today, only Dark World, and I beat Dark World without even playing that. 2 Gozen Match, again, very powerful. Everybody questioned me when I played Soul Drain, only because Soul Drain stops the effects from bringing back. I'm more worried about losing to water and more worried about losing to the power decks versus this going off. It's not necessary, and if anything, I could MST it or...
Why don't you set this against Dark World? Because this also killed Dark World too, besides...
That's very true. I mean, I like either one. I mean, the only reason I don't do this against Dark World is because besides, you know, Grapha, like, nothing really runs over this besides him. And I'd rather have Shadow and Imprisoning so I could still keep using his effect to Wrath. Just preference. Plus, Abyss Dweller really puts in work. We'll go to that. 2 Max C. Windups. Possibly something just to get some pluses to draw into Onslaught or something. 1 Deck Devi. A lot of people are like, why 1 Deck Devi? You could go into like Corn Ship, I played 2 of them, or any other thing, just to Deck Devi. And Deck Devi is really good this format against all the decks. You know, Water, Windup. 2 Bottomless, and then 2 Fiendish Chain. Very good.
No decree? No roll decree? Or
no decree or anything. I don't need it. I mean, I'm not playing a lot of traps, and I don't really think other trap decks really even matter. I'm playing 3 Lances. I mean, it just... I'd rather have trap support, or I lose. Like, I just can't allow him to sit back and crush me. As far as your extra, I was playing 2. Supposed to be playing 2. 2 Black Corn, only because in case I need another one, or there's some games on the line where I may need more than one, and especially for Deck Devi, I just want to make sure that I have at least more than 1 target in case this happens to be negated or destroyed somehow. 2 Tiger King. Tiger King, good. I mean, I don't search for a trap, I just search for my spells. Not a big deal. 2 Abyss Dweller.
Why 2? It's kind of like very pointless, don't you think? 1 is good enough, but 2 is a little overkill.
If you look at a lot of the decks, and I'm not just basing it off of that, a lot of OCG and a lot of recent decks coming out play 2 to 3 of these, only because this is probably main or game 1, your best card against Dark World, against Waters, against a lot of stuff that hits targets the graveyard, especially when you have a lot of trap support and lances and whatnot. This becomes your bread and butter in case you draw very poorly, and it's very easy to get into it. There's times where I actually summon 2 in 1 turn, or not in 1 turn, but in 1 game, I want to say.
Doing for the day.
Marrowgeist, we know what Marrowgeist is for. Dire,
me from distracting myself.
Botan, Roach, Pearl, Cowboy, Master, Utopia, and Maestro.
No, Utopia Ray?
He's horrible.
Hey, actually, he's pretty good. He won me a couple of matches.
But, like I said, overall, I'm very satisfied with how the deck ran. If I really needed to change things, Call the Haunted would be cut. It's just not that good. It's very slow, and there's a lot of times where if it was either Fiendish Chain or Bottomless, it would have did a lot better than Call.
Well, you know that next weekend is the YCS Miami. Do you think that the deck will perform really well, or you just now will make to top 32?
I think it'll be very good if they make a good build. I don't really like the Hazy Beast build. I don't really like the Mill build. I like something like this where you have the option to keep searching and putting the cards in your hand. You know, the monsters are very big. You could sit behind your lances. You could sit behind a lot of everything. I think my particular build that I came out with, I think it has very, very high chances of making top. Like I said, besides me making that mistake on my own to lose, I really was not under pressure at all. You know, Macro Rabbit did nothing to this. I played 3 Macro Rabbits today.
Oh, yeah?
And they had Macro game, you know, turn 1 game, you know, every single game. And I left it on the board because it really didn't hurt me much. I just used giant beaters and attacked over everything that they have. You know, if they don't have MSTs, you know, you could have your Tenkis and your formations up, making your monsters more than 2,000, bigger than any of their monsters in their deck. And if they go anything as far as Exceed-wise, then you have other cards and negate them.
So, what is your best and worst matchup? See, if Dino Rabbit is not your worst matchup, then what is?
I wouldn't say it's not my worst matchup. It's definitely annoying. It definitely causes some stress. I was just very lucky to draw very good and have the option to keep searching for monsters and be able to do what I did. Water seems to be kind of difficult. Again, I played 1 water today and they really didn't open too good, and they really couldn't deal with Garunix at all. Like, there's no way they got rid of this.
Yeah.
And even if they got rid of it, it would be by card effect. And it would just come back and destroy anything they made anyways, and that's exactly what I did. When I faced water, I 2-0'd the guy, and I just kept on abusing Garunix, blowing his field up constantly, non-stop, and he just could not get rid of him.
Yeah, for Mermail, they couldn't do much because they don't really have, like, traps that can kill your monster, like Battle Trap Hole or Deep Prison.
But the reason I would say the Mermills and the Lanteans would be kind of difficult is the speed that they generate, where this sometimes, if you don't draw completely good, you know, the speed may be, you know, you're just going to lose by good hand, unfortunately. But like I said, overall, I think it's a very good deck. I'm very satisfied with it. Like I said, the only thing I would really cut would be the Call the Haunted. Probably for either chain or bottomless, depending on how I feel about it.
So go ahead.
You still have games to play, right?
I do. I'll make top 8.
I'm just saying, karma here. Those calls are going to win you games now, and you're...
They probably will.
Just because you said that.
But right here, guys. Thanks for the profile. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.